I'd like to introduce our very first speaker, Eric Zuncic. So Eric is the Chief Strategy Officer at CP+B, Crispin Porter and Boguski. What does a Chief Strategy Officer do? I asked that question. I have to get my notes because it was pretty long. Okay, what was it? Okay, oversees research strategy, communications planning, social insights, and user experience capabilities. Anything else? Did I miss anything? No, that's okay. I'll let you give the real answer. When we asked Eric, would he join us for this conference, and would he talk about, what is mobile doing as an industry? How is it affecting us? How should we be responding to it, adapting to it? I said, Eric, inspire us. And he sort of paused on the phone and said, okay, I'm in. And we're really grateful he is. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Eric Zuncic. Eric, welcome.
Thanks. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Chris. Thank you to the ARF for having me here. You mentioned that you're going to have experts and luminaries speaking up here. I doubt that I'm either of those, and the goal was to inspire you guys. And before I tell you how I get inspired, I guess I'll answer that age-old question of what the hell does a Chief Strategy Officer do anyway. The simple way I put it is we look for opportunities to turn business problems into creative opportunities. And in order to turn business problems into creative opportunities, you obviously have to understand where they're going to live, what the business is doing, what culture is doing, what people are doing, and how they behave. And so when I was asked to come up here and inspire you guys, I thought, oh shit, that's a big challenge. The way I get inspired is I look around the world and I say, what am I jealous of? What have other people done that make me say, God, I wish I did that? Or why didn't I think of that? And so I'm going to show you guys a lot of work, because that's what I believe in, is showing you examples of what I believe great mobile advertising is, and talk to you a little bit about why I think it's great. And I think the big revelation I had was, as I set out on this mission of, what the heck am I going to talk to you guys about? It was, oh, I got to go find all these cutting edge things and all these, bleeding edge mobile devices and opportunities and types of coding frameworks and programmatic buying and all this stuff. And when I actually looked at all the stuff that's impacted me the most, you'll see, because the videos I'm showing you are going to be pretty crappy quality, a lot of it's really old. And that was a surprise to me, because what's so interesting to me is that we've been doing this stuff well for a long time. We just don't take the time, the energy, or think enough outside the box to do it over and over again. And so we'll talk about that a little bit more. Obviously, important for me is what I'm not going to talk about, and you just covered some of this stuff anyway. This is all important, but you guys all know this stuff already. You're all here because this stuff is happening. So I'm not really here to talk about the fact that it's going to change everything, because the truth is, if you look at your lives, if you look at your phone right now, it already has changed everything. If you think about the way you used to fly, the way you used to get from point A to B, the way you used to do research, the way you used to figure out what restaurant you want to go to, the way you used to collaborate with your teams, the way you used to play Pokemon, it's all different, right? It is a total transformation. And I think what really frustrates me is that we still treat it like it's a pocket-sized billboard or TV screen. And that's the mistake. That's the problem. I was working with some media partners that our agency works with recently, and we said, hey, the client's really challenging us to come up with a new way to think about mobile for their brand. And the media agency said, great, you have 3 options. You can do mobile banners, you can do mobile interstitials, or you can do mobile native, where you show up in stream. That doesn't make any sense. If this is how people are interacting with stuff, why is this what we're making? Why is this what we're selling to our clients? Is it because it's what the inventory is? Is it because it's easy? I don't know, but we shouldn't be doing it, right? The opportunity is to totally transform the way we interact with our consumers. The opportunity is to take what our brand stands for and figure out ways to extend it and add value and create experiences that aren't just showing someone an ad. And we'll talk about how. I think, I said before, I'll show you guys a bunch of work. I'm going to go really fast because I'd rather get through this and just talk to you guys about questions you have and problems you're facing and lend any knowledge I'm able to. So I guess let's get started. We'll talk about kind of 4 principles and 4 shifts that I believe have already transformed the way we should be marketing based on these brilliant little devices, or as my brother calls them, hand computers that we all carry around with us. So the first thing is creating immediacy. It's really interesting to me, and this stat is probably wrong. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's been debated, right? Is it 800? Is it 400? Is it 10 million? Who cares? People see lots of advertising. But a lot of that advertising, the vast majority of it, is telling them about a thing that they should remember, put away in the back of their mind, and then when they're thinking about it later on, come back and say, oh, that's that thing that brand told me to do. Now is the time to go do it. That doesn't make any sense, right? We've got these devices that are so specific, so smart, so immediate. It allows us to do things right now. And so a shift that I'd challenge you guys and your partners and everybody to think about is, how do we transition advertising from go do this over there eventually when you think about it, to have an experience right here and now. Do something important and meaningful to you, consumer, right here and now. I'm going to show you guys 2 examples. This first one, I don't know why. You guys may all see this example and be like, that's boring, that's stupid. I actually think some of the people who worked on it may be here. It's from Microsoft, and it's from 2010, I think, maybe even earlier than that. Microsoft was launching Windows Phone 7. Honestly, I don't even know if that thing still exists or not, but this is a great example. It's probably my favorite mobile advertising case study ever. And that may be depressing once you see it, but I'll tell you why afterwards. Essentially, I interacted with this as a consumer, and it stuck with me ever since I did. I was playing Words with Friends. Remember when people used to play that? That's how fast this stuff moves. And an interstitial ad came up, and it said, hey, new Windows 7 phone is coming out, but you're on an iPhone, so you can't have it. Want to see what it might be like? And so I'll show you what the experience was, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. So again, I don't know, maybe you guys think that's boring, maybe you're like, that product is dead, so who cares? But what's fascinating is the age-old marketing question. You guys probably all remember this example, but I think it was RCA when they invented the color TV. We're like, we don't know how to sell this thing because we have to advertise a color TV on a black and white TV. That's impossible, right? That's what they did. They solved that problem. They said, we're going to give you a real Windows Phone experience with your data, your contacts, your emails, your everything on your iPhone, which is impossible. They put an entire operating system on a product that it doesn't belong on. And that's fascinating to me, right? That's an interesting way to use mobile. That's an interesting way to say, hey, don't remember next time you're shopping for a phone to think about a Windows Phone. It's compare this Windows phone with your real data to your own phone right now without going anywhere, downloading anything, or doing anything. It's fascinating. That's the kind of stuff I think we should challenge ourselves to do. Another example is actually a client of ours at CP+B, Domino's Pizza. And so Domino's has a huge tech team, and they really invest in this idea of their brand purpose, which is they believe pizza is magic. It's never just pizza. It's magical experiences between people. And so our challenge to them was, okay, if you really believe pizza is magic, how do you prove that? How do you make every part of the pizza experience magic? So it started with the pizza tracker way back in the day, where you could find out where your pizza was in the process of being made. It's come all the way around to we invented a car for them, a pizza delivery car, purpose-built, that we partnered with GM on. But what's really interesting is pizza ordering has been the same forever. It's been via the phone, right? And what's particularly interesting is, why show a TV ad that tells people to go pick up their phone and call? Why have a radio ad that says, when you get home, pick up the phone and call? Why not just let your car order a pizza, or let your TV order a pizza, or let anything order a pizza? And so I'll show you this example. It's an Anywhere suite of products that was all about taking that idea of immediacy, and this kind of stretches the idea of mobile a little bit, but I believe mobile is any device that you're using when you're not, sitting down stationary in front of a giant thing. So I'll just show you this. It's the Anywhere suite, and then I'll talk about why we're particularly proud of it in a minute.
Mine orders Domino's.
So does mine.
Me too. Pizza emoji sent, Domino's ordered.
I can order Domino's on Twitter.
500 horsepower pizza ordering machine.
I don't ever have to get up. It's been 2 days.
Domino's, the gigantic pizza chain, will start letting you order pizzas
by tweeting out the pizza emoji icon.
Domino's is going to let customers use Twitter to place online orders.
And they are going to let you order pizza through your car.
So I think the most exciting thing on there is that, I don't know if you all read it because it goes up pretty fast. Domino's Pizza is a top 5 digital transaction company in America, behind Amazon and Apple. So people buy more iTunes songs, and people buy more stuff from Amazon, and then they're buying pizza. That's insane. Over $4 billion of pizza is sold on all those devices. That's what happens when you forget about, oh, well, if we build this smartwatch app, then we're going to have to do ads to send people to the smartwatch app. No, you don't. The press will talk about it. People will talk about it. It will earn you an opportunity to be relevant in folks' lives. And so I think the big lesson here is, how do you give people something to do now, where they are in the moment? How do you give them an opportunity to engage and interact where they are? That was a dangerous piece of advice, and this is the part of the presentation where I totally contradict myself, and you guys can all call BS on me. That doesn't mean selling your stuff everywhere all the time at any moment's notice. It doesn't mean putting a click here to buy now on every single ad and everything you do. What it means is finding opportunities to be relevant to people, even if your product isn't. So how do you create immersive experiences that allow you to, as a brand, be relevant and add value, even if people don't care about your product right now? I'm going to, interestingly enough, show you a case study about iced tea in a minute, not the wrapper, the product. But how do you find a way to stop being so commerce-centric and start being a little more consumer-centric? There's a great example that I'm not going to show you because I don't know if it's successful or not. I don't really know much about it since it launched. But people in America buy a new car or a new used car about every 5 to 7 years. Car manufacturers advertise more than anyone except for cell phone companies, essentially. Why is that if people aren't always in the process of buying a car? Ford recently launched an app that you don't have to have a Ford to use. You can find parking spots, pay for parking, use their concierge for dinner reservations and things like that. It's a driving experience app that allows them to give consumers a valuable experience, even if they're not shopping for a car. There's no buy now garbage cluttered throughout the thing. It's simply adding value to people's lives in hopes of when they want to buy a car, they remember all that cool stuff you did for them. It's also not to say that being consumer-centric is at odds with being commerce-centric, and that's why I'm going to show you the case study I'm about to show you, because somehow this brand figured out a way to sell tons of iced tea simply by giving consumers a game to play. So I'll show that and we can talk about it.
In 2011, we put Brisk back on the map, doubling our clients' business. We grew a Facebook community from 15,000 to 1.4 million strong through star-studded content. Pepsi's sales expectations were very high to continue this skyrocketing growth. Building on our positioning of Brisk revives your creative mojo, our diehard consumers were waiting to see what we'd do next. The answer? Make Brisk into an entertainment company, not just a beverage company. So we forged a partnership with the most popular franchise in the galaxy, Star Wars. We built a complex ecosystem between the product, traditional advertising, digital content, and the true centerpiece of the campaign, mobile. Enter Brisk Saber, a highly addicting free mobile game that turns your finger into a lightsaber. You can pledge your allegiance to the dark side or the light side and battle against key characters from the epic franchise. The way to progress through the game was to buy specially marked bottles with codes to redeem on Brisk Saber, thus creating a real loop between sales and entertainment. Other campaign highlights included Darth Maul and Yoda facing off for the first time ever on television and in cinema, Brisk Star Wars radio, print, and social executions. A mobile grassroots tour hit the road to meet up with fans, and memorable R2-D2 coolers and displays in retail. Brisk Saber was installed over 2 million times, creating an entirely new mobile community, tripling the size of the overall Brisk network. The game has been played over 11 million times. Average engagement time with the brand was around 10 minutes.
That's Brisk, baby!
Has been heard 35 million times within the app. Since the launch of the campaign, Brisk's 1-liter business is up 50%, and overall sales are up 27% across the board. The campaign was covered in the New York Times, Forbes, and Fast Company, and Brisk has also become a coveted rare billion-dollar brand within the Pepsi family. That's Brisk, baby.
So there's a brand that basically built a game with their entire marketing budget for a year, spent all the money on partnership, on production, and ended up having, I think, the best year in that brand's history without any real mass media, without having to pay tons of people to look at some ad somewhere, but simply by building something that was of value to consumers, starting with an experience, and then finding a way to work the product in. And I think that's the lesson here, right, is how do you start with an experience? It doesn't matter if you're a tea brand or a tech brand or a fashion brand. Find an experience that is worthwhile for your consumers, and then find a way to work your product into it. The next example is about taking things that people already do and helping them be better at those things. So I unapologetically stole this next thing from somewhere on the internet, both the quote and the picture. The quote is that, and I believe this firmly, people don't care about your product. They can buy any product. They want to buy a better version of themselves. So what can you do to sell them a better version of themselves? And I love this image for you Mario nerds. This is your consumer, right? This is your product. And you could just say, well, our product, our flower, has more leaves and more red center in the middle of it and is the most flowery flower out there. Or you can say, look at this cool shit you can do with our flower. It lets you shoot fireballs, it makes you bigger, it turns you red. That's what people want to buy, is that outcome, not the product itself. And so I really respect brands out there that find a way, instead of saying, hey, come here, we got this cool, immersive brand experience for you to come to. Instead, brands that go out to you and say, you're already doing cool stuff, let us help you do that cool stuff better or in more interesting or new ways. Yet again, I think this next thing I'm going to show you is from like 2009, 2010, somewhere around that time frame. And it's purely built around taking what people are already doing and making it better, adding value to experiences people already have, instead of saying, come check out this thing that you're going to experience for 5 minutes and forget about and not care about anymore.
Vail Resorts wanted to create something new for their pass holders that would help differentiate them from other mountain resorts and extend their customers' relationship beyond the average 6 days of skiing. The solution was Epic Mix, a product free to all pass holders that transforms the individual sports of skiing and snowboarding into a socially connected experience. Thanks to RFID technology already in passes and on the mountain, guests' lift rides are automatically captured, leaving the user nothing to do but ride. This allows Epic Mix users to track their riding stats, earn over 180 unique pins based on their activity, and to share their achievements effortlessly. It also means they can see the stats, pins, and mountain location of their Facebook friends and family members who also use Epic Mix. To make riding at Vail Resorts even more game-like and addicting, each pin earned and vertical foot covered are worth points that determine your ranking on the Epic Mix leaderboard, so you can compete against everyone on Epic Mix, or just your Facebook friends. As a result of Epic Mix and its social, gaming, and competitive elements, 1 out of every 5 Vail Resorts pass holders has an Epic Mix account.
So that's not all that revolutionary, right? Nike did it with Nike Plus. Rip Curl just won at Cannes last year for doing a thing that tracks the waves you ride, etc. But it's the concept behind that. It's the idea, not of gamifying things because brands like to gamify things, but of actually adding value, helping people do what they're already doing better, amplifying that experience. And so how do we help people be better beyond our product, right? That experience, stats and stuff don't have much to do with selling you food on the mountain or getting you to ski more, but it has to do with you feeling like you're a better skier or snowboarder and allowing you to share those experiences with others. So that's super powerful when you're able to kind of transcend your product and help people be that bigger version of Mario that I showed you. The last thing is about empowerment. I hate that this word is on a slide. I'm actually going to click past it because I'm embarrassed. But I think this is really important, right? And this is not a sell for influencer marketing. This is not a sell for word of mouth marketing, any of that crap. This is simply, what do people trust? Well, this is really interesting. Ads on mobile devices are all the way down here. That's that stuff I showed you before, right? That's the interstitials and banner ads and native ads, all that BS. Ads on social networks, sorry Facebook, all the way down here too, right? Recommendations from people I know, and that covers a lot of things, right? It could be influencers, it could be actual friends, it could be user-generated content, it could be brand content that highlights other users in it, all that stuff. The point isn't who's delivering the message. The point is this shift that I think is a really hard one to make. And that shift is from us talking to them, which is the easy thing to do, right? It's what we've done to blast out our message for decades, to getting them to talk to each other. And the caveat here is, I don't give a damn if it's about us or not. Just giving them the power to talk to each other and at some point fitting your product in, like with that brisk example, is more than enough to move your business forward. And so this next example I'm going to show is another thing that the agency I work at now built for a brand called LetGo. LetGo is essentially an app that is trying to go head-to-head with Craigslist. And as this thing will show you, Craigslist ads suck because they're all text and maybe you can pop a couple pictures in there. If we truly wanted to fight against that, how could we help people not just make the best classified ad, but go head-to-head with the products you guys sell, right? How do you make an ad for these shoelaces I want to sell, these used shoelaces I want to sell, as compelling to your audience as a Coca-Cola commercial? So that's what we did. That's what we built for our audience.
America has a problem. We consume too much. But little secondhand selling app LetGo had the big ambition to fix this by getting Americans to sell what they don't use. The problem is, traditional secondhand listings are never going to compete with all the billion-dollar brands out there selling new stuff. And no one is going to share a listing that looks like this. So to even the odds, we created the LetGo Commercializer. Finally, a way to make dull classified listings into engaging and shareable big-budget commercials, complete with invaluable celebrity endorsement.
That's correct. It seems like a great contract.
Oh, it is, Dolph. Sellers simply post an item on the LetGo app, then select their desired commercial style, and regardless of what they're selling, all their listing details are seamlessly woven into the action. They can choose from an 80s action movie trailer.
He's back for one final mission.
For the sake of humanity, we need it back.
Where is it? I don't know!
A male enhancement pharmaceutical ad.
Ask your doctor if this is right for you. Make sure your heart is healthy enough for this product, as extreme enjoyment is likely, but cannot be guaranteed.
Now we wonder how we ever got by without it.
A bickering home shopping segment.
This is the deal we've all been waiting for.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Wow, my mind is being blown. Woo!
Doesn't take much.
Let's just admire for a second the quality of this item.
Very nice.
Or a bizarre perfume spot.
C'est si parfait. Disponible seulement sur LetGo.
Their finished commercial can then be shared with the world in any way the seller sees fit. So how'd it go? Well, it turns out people actually love advertising and sharing it with everyone they know.
That is a deal and a half.
The LetGo Commercializer. Fixing America's consumerism one ridiculous commercial at a time.
So again, and that's fun. I think, I think the numbers are now up to 1.5 million of those things have been made for anything from, I think you guys saw the action toilet on there. Weird stuff. But I think this is the scary thing, right? We've always heard that social and that will make us hand our brands over to consumers. I don't think that's the case. I think the case is that it gives you the power to let other people do what they want, not with your brand, but with what they want to do. And we should do it. And it's a tough hurdle to get over, empowering people to go do things their own way instead of the way you want them to do them. We're so used to kind of forcing people through a funnel. Another example that I'm not going to show you, but you should look up, is Post-it Notes recently launched a mobile experience where you just take a picture of all your Post-its on a wall if you've had a collaboration session, and it digitizes them and allows you to, in real time, to move them around, recategorize them, and everybody can work on it at the same time. Again, maybe someone at 3M said, oh boy, no one's ever going to buy Post-its again because they'll just take a picture and use the app instead. But instead, they said, we've actually taken our product and added a significant layer of value on top of it using this technology. So I think, to close, there's a bunch of stuff I talked about. It's already happened. So we need to kind of get over talking about the fact that it's going to happen or that it might happen. And I think I'm also a realist, right? I've actually worked on the client side. I understand that this isn't stuff you can do immediately. Maybe you don't have the technology. Maybe your teams are siloed. Maybe your agency doesn't get it. Whatever, right? But I think the fact that a lot of these cases are so old, and I didn't do that on purpose. I was shocked at how old all the best examples are. Maybe no one's excited about mobile anymore, but they should be. I think the fact is we have to do what we can, right? All it takes is one of those examples driving great results like it did for all these clients for you guys to then go to your organizations and say, we need to do more of this. We saw, we're doubling mobile spending regardless of people knowing what it does or how to do it. Let's at least do it the right way. So that's it for me. I'm happy to answer questions. I'm happy to talk about stuff. I'm also happy to have you guys email me and talk about stuff after the fact, but thank you.
I would just invite everybody, if you do have questions, you'll see these little stands here. We invite you, actually, Mark, if folks want to, please come up to the mics so that everybody can hear your questions. But if not, I know you're going to be here for a little bit this afternoon.
Absolutely.
So, Eric.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.